Hey, it's Dr. Jaban. I'm going to be talking about leaky gut, one of the most popular topics in all of functional medicine. There are so many different arguments about what causes it, what steps you've got to do to take first. So what are some truths and some myths? So first of all, if you're dealing with parasites, Lyme, heavy metals, mold, autoimmunity, you pretty much have leaky gut. That's just the consensus among most doctors. It's the reality that your gut is going to be damaged when you're dealing with those things. So, first of all, what is leaky gut? Leaky gut means that your digestive tract wall, so you've got the tube where all the food goes through, that wall around it is permeable, which allows for food, microbes, toxins, and anything else that's going in your body to get out of that wall and into your bloodstream. Now, what's in your bloodstream is your immune system and freedom for whatever that is to get all around throughout your body, wreaking havoc. So that's what leaky gut is. Now, you can get down to some pretty nice details about leaky gut. We've got a lot of research out there talking about the tight junctions, which is little doorways that open up between the cells that allow things to go through the gut into the bloodstream. And there are several different kinds of tests out there that you can look up from different laboratories like Cyrex. And even now, I think some of the bigger box labs like Quest are getting into some of that kind of testing. But the reality is, leaky gut is pretty much there if you have any of those common symptoms like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, any sort of autoimmune Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, you pretty much know you have leaky gut. So just accept that fact and start healing it. Now, what are some common causes of leaky gut? Anything that damages the gut, anything that causes a flare to the digestive tract. So that's parasites, mycoplasma, bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, chemicals like glyphosate, increased stress, like big stress events in your life. All of that can lead to leaky gut. Now, why? Well, first of all, some of those things can damage your gut by themselves. Other reasons are like stress flares your immune system so high that the gut lining actually gets damaged by immune flares. So you don't actually have to have a true infection to create leaky gut, but it does make it a lot quicker and easier to get leaky gut if you do. So there's your common causes, right? So what's the myth? The myth is you've got to heal leaky gut first before you get rid of anything or start healing anything. That is an absolute myth because leaky gut's not going away until you get rid of the reasons why it's there, which is the bugs, the toxins, the chemicals, all of that sort of stuff, right? So how is it even possible to heal the leaky gut if yeast or parasites or heavy metals or glyphosate's causing it and you still have that in there? So I hear from some people, well, you've got to heal leaky gut first and because you're not absorbing anything. That doesn't even make sense that you have to heal it first if you're not absorbing because you've got infections that are damaging the gut. So break this myth. If you see it on other pages, be like, how does that work? Because I've seen it out there and I go, how is it even possible? If you have glyphosate flooding your digestive tract, metals or parasites that are damaging you, you will not heal the gut. So you have to get the gut clear of those things, then heal it. That doesn't mean that we're not doing some things as we're walking through this process to get the gut healed a little bit more. So some Band-Aids while going through the process, those Band-Aids can be things like glutamine if you're not intolerant to glutamine or glutamate, quercetins, histidiols, turmeric, resveratrol, all the different NF-kappa beta blockers, so anti-inflammatories. Those are all things that can absolutely help you to decrease the inflammation, the inflammatory reactions, the pushed up histamine and immune reaction in the digestive tract so that you can actually get somewhere to healing. But in the moment of having all those in there, you're not going to be able to heal the gut. So those were your Band-Aids. Now, what are some symptoms of leaky gut? Well, malnutrition is a symptom. So if you've got any malnutrition-like symptoms, so fatigue, discoloration to your body, so you're flushed out, to being a little more pale, IBS-like symptoms, diarrhea, constipation, eczema, fibromyalgia, which can be just tenderness, soreness around your body. So all of those are symptoms of leaky gut. And there's a lot more symptoms out there, but those are the ones that just come to mind real quick and easy for me. So pay attention to those and take care of them by getting rid of that root cause, which is whatever it is for you, whether that be parasites or Lyme or bacteria, heavy metals or toxins. I keep going back to that over and over, right? Because those are the root causes of this that you have to get rid of. All right. So then, what are the steps to healing? Well, first of all, we've got to make sure you go to the bathroom. So you've got to get rid of constipation. You've got to, number one, get rid of constipation. Number two, you've got to start looking at the same time, healing the gut. So using those Band-Aids, doing the great things like celery juice and removing food allergies. But at the same time, you've got to be going after those root causes, because food allergies are just a side effect of parasites or of inflammatory things in the body that are flaring you up. So my steps are get rid of constipation, start supporting the gut, removing everything, so using your antimicrobials and binders, reducing stress. And once you go through that, whether it takes you 6 months or 2 years, that's when leaky gut starts to heal, but only after those things are removed, because again, we can't heal the gut unless you remove those. All right, so that was the basic spiel for leaky gut. That's not bringing in all the science words. That's not bringing in the exact protocol, because everybody's protocol is going to be a little different. But that's the basics of leaky gut. So if you know anybody struggling with IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, bloating, cramping, eczema, they've got leaky gut, they need to see this video so they stop spending their time and spinning their wheels trying to take all the glutamines and trying to eat the perfect diet and trying to do AIP and trying to do GAPS and FODMAP, and get down to these root causes so that they can actually get well. Because you could be FODMAP for years and then start getting worse again, or AIP for years and start getting worse again, because those organisms are still in there beating you down. They're still in there tearing holes in your digestive tract, and it's just a matter of time before those anti-inflammatory steps stop working. Because I've seen it over and over and over. Oh, I went vegan and I feel better for a couple of years, and then the body breaks down a little more because the infections and the toxins are still there, and then that's not good enough. So then you have to go AIP vegan, and then you have to go even further to where you just feel bad all the time, and even water causes reactions. So get this information out to those people that you know. All right, well, hi there, Patty and Whitney. Let's see, from what you've seen from children with autism, they have gut issues, correct? Absolutely. Will this work well for them? Yeah, I mean, I work with autistic and PANS kids every single day, and you have to start in the gut, because the neurotransmitters that control your brain, they're made in your gut. So if you have depression or anxiety or OCD, you're absolutely going to have leaky gut, because there's something wrong in the gut that's not allowing those neurotransmitters to get to the brain. Now, you can also have the same toxins in the brain not allowing the synapses and the neurotransmitters to bind to the cells in your brain. So it can absolutely go both ways there. But for kids with autism, yeah, you've got to fix the gut. And so many of them are allergic to dairy or gluten. And when you remove that, they have almost a withdrawal-like symptom. And then you see a breakthrough where they start communicating better. They start putting together sentences if it was that easy for that person. It just depends on their cofactors, right? So for some Lyme patients, they feel really good after they go free of gluten and dairy, because it removes enough inflammation, their body starts getting better. Some, it's simply just not enough to do that. You need to do more and that. So there you go. Well, hi there, Emily. Well, that's the only question that was asked here. Either I explained it well, or nobody's got questions written out here, which I'm sure there are, because there's always a lot of discussion in the leaky gut world. Well, thank you for that confidence there, Patty. Hey, Dr. George Stanton, you could add in on some of this leaky gut talk. Dr. George Stanton here's a friend of mine who is an up-and-comer in the functional med world. And Emily, I do sleep. I will go to sleep later on, about 11 to 7, give or take. Hi there, Stephanie. If pathogens have been wiped out, what else can be done to heal leaky gut after it? I'm on a low FODMAP diet now. Should I be doing anything else to help the leaky gut for good? If you've wiped out all pathogens and wiped out all toxins, removed toxins from the diet, removed toxins from the hygiene, removed toxins from your water, got heavy metals out of your body, then at that point, once you've done all that work, that's when you go in with because you should be easily able to tolerate any sort of glutamines, aloes, histidiols, and then fermented foods and probiotics, prebiotics, right? That's when all of those things become useful, because now that your gut has no more attack on it, now that's when you're able to go in there and you're able to make sure that you're able to heal up. And it shouldn't take long. It should be pretty quick once all of the pathogens, toxins have been removed. So if you're doing a FODMAP diet, then here's my thing. If you have to do a FODMAP diet to feel well, then you haven't removed all the toxins and infections yet. If you are doing it just to feel better, then at that point, by now, if all the toxins and infections are out, you probably don't need it anymore, and you just simply need to feed the gut the fermented foods to start healing. Also, in some cases, your body has attached to those food allergies, so it's gotten used to it, so it's stuck to having food allergies. Sometimes you have to remove the food allergies for a period of time. I've seen acupuncture and NEAT both be really effective at getting the body to accept those foods to where you're not allergic to them anymore I just use the terminology retraining the brain through those techniques, but that might be a piece for you also if you're still having difficulty with certain foods. All right. We got one more down here. You were reading the Buhner protocol today, and there was a part about parasites which said that all of us have, and it will not, there we go, commensal helpful parasites. If we did not have them, we would not be alive. Absolutely. Our bodies have parasites, bacteria, viruses that are, as you're using the word, commensal or symbiotic. We have to have some. So we're not trying to wipe out or annihilate every single organism to zero. Absolutely not. Buhner is dead on in that. We're trying to get rid of the overgrowth or certain ones that really aren't supposed to be in humans. So we're not trying to get rid of everything, just the overgrowth, so that once you get your body back to health, right? So if the pathogen load, the toxin burden's way up here, I need to get it back down to where your mitochondria are above it so that they can keep control of, by regulating your immune system and energy, all those organisms that absolutely help you. So there's lots of bacteria that help you. Even parasites, they absolutely help you in a certain way. So the word parasite doesn't even technically fit. One of the thoughts out there right now is we have so many more parasites in us because our toxic environment is so toxic that more parasites are growing because they feed on all those toxins, right? So if we keep feeding anything, it's going to keep growing. Well, now it's growing out of proportion, and its waste is even toxic to you. So then when you get rid of parasites, if you're not doing something for your toxic load from the environment, your toxic burden goes up. Well, then your parasites go back up. Does that make sense to you? So it's all about lowering the toxic burden overall, elevating mitochondria and immune function, and then controlling all those microbes in your body to keep you healthy and well, because we need them. We absolutely need them. Without the E. coli's and the streps and the staphs and all these other different bacteria, 40,000 different strands have been identified in your gut. We're not alive. Do I suggest kefir for guy health, specifically guy health? Kefir, yes, can be good. Fermented food in general can be good, but we need to make sure we're not allergic to it. So make sure that if it's kefir with dairy, that person's able to tolerate it. For male health, so we're talking testosterone, I could do a whole video on testosterone. Testosterone goes up inversely to any insulin. So sugar up, carbs up, testosterone down. So with kefir, if we have a high sugar content in it or a high carb content in it, then that would be a different story. So you meant gut health, so not guy health. Got it. Again, you've just got to be very careful with where your kefir is coming from to make sure that you can tolerate it. Because if you're feeding your gut a bunch of bacteria It just needs to be a variety of those prebiotic, probiotic, fermented foods. So not just kefir. Rotate around. And again, make sure you're not allergic to the base of kefir. All right, well, I've caught up on questions. I've seen a few new people pop on here. If there's any more questions about leaky gut or any of the things that I've said, post them out here. Or to Emily's statement earlier, it would be time for me to head to bed, or at least head home since I'm still at work. I had a lot of extra notes to get done tonight since I'm going on a couple trips for work coming up. Off topic, but I mentioned fermented food. You're trying to hand make fermented garlic and raw honey over every day, but a few cloves had a bit of mold. You remove those. Do you think I should throw it out? Clove still hasn't sunk to the bottom yet. For me, if it was my personal body, because I am not sensitive to mold, I'll eat things that are a little older, a little more moldy, because I don't think that all molds or all fungus is bad for you. But it really depends on your personal experience. If you're a mold survivor or a mold recovery person, I would be very careful with any mold, and I'd probably toss it. If mold is never a part of your picture and you don't seem to react at all to mold, then your body can probably tolerate it. So every person has their own line not to cross. That's probably one that you'll have to pick for yourself, since I don't know your specific situation on that. But if you're mold sensitive at all, toss it all. All right. Anybody else? Any leaky gut questions? Any gut health questions? Any autoimmune? Because man, the link between leaky gut and autoimmune is incredible. All the things that are coming from inside your gut and then getting into out to your tissues, right? So if it's food or infections and it gets out into your tissues, we're seeing leaky gut and autoimmunities have incredible links. So if you have a leaky gut, you're bound to get autoimmunity if you do not get it fixed. That's just what's in the research right now. So